Speaker, my question's to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by his statements that after the government's tax changes, including the increase to GST, quote, the vast bulk of New Zealanders will be better off, and, quote, if the government cannot achieve that, we would not increase GST?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes.
The Honourable Annette King.
How can he stand by that statement that the vast bulk of New Zealanders will be better off when economists from the Institute of Economic Research estimates that rising food prices, the GST increase and other cost increases that he's introduced will leave around half of all householders worse off by the end of the year?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, because the advice I've had from Treasury is that a family will be better off by about $25 a week post the personal income tax GST switch, and an individual will be about $15 a week better off.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Is he aware that power companies are increasing their charges on the 1st of October, with Contact Energy the latest to inform customers of a 6% increase in power prices, leading to around $6 a week increase on average for families? If so, how will New Zealanders be better off, as he promised?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I am aware that power prices have risen under a national government by around about 3% since the time we've been in office. I am aware that power prices will increase by half what they would have under Labor in relation to the emissions trading scheme. I am aware that power prices went up 72% when that lot were in office. And, Mr Speaker, I think New Zealanders, broadly speaking, can take comfort that we are doing what we can to control power prices and make sure this economy operates efficiently.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Is he aware that public transport costs are increasing on the 1st of October, with the Wellington Bus Company increasing their fares for some passengers by $5 a week, and that's what it'll cost them to get to work each day? And if so, how will New Zealanders be better off, as he promised, when $11 of their so-called tax cuts have been eaten up in just 2 price increases that I've mentioned today?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, well, if the Wellington Bus Company is raising its prices by $5 a week as of October 1 because of the GST increase, then they're ripping people off, because, quite frankly, GST going up 2.5% is unlikely to equate to $5. Mr Speaker, what I can say is that inflation under a national government has run at about 1.8%, contrasting that with a Labor government at 5%. And, Mr Speaker, it's worth remembering any cost increases which have gone up because of GST have more than been compensated by personal income tax cuts.
The Honourable
question, Mr Speaker. Would the government consider holding GST at 12.5% to help around 100,000 households in Canterbury who will have to rebuild their homes, in light of the fact that around $7,000 will be added to the average new house because of the GST increase on the 1st of October?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, no, and that's because the first $100,000 of payments made under an EQC claim will be funded at GST plus GST of 15%, and contents will be at $20,000 plus GST.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker.
King.
What action will the government take to avoid a repeat of the so-called Edgecombe factor following their earthquake, which saw building materials and supplies increase dramatically, which, if it happened in Christchurch, combined with GST increase, would see the cost of rebuilding people's home increase markedly?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, that is one of the issues that the government's focused on. The Minister responsible for the rebuilding and recovering in Canterbury, Jerry Brownlee, is having discussions with building companies about that. Building companies that undertake work in the rapid rebuild phase that we want will have to sign conditions to ensure that their work is done at a fair and reasonable rate. And I would expect all builders who are operating in Christchurch, helping people to recover from the earthquake, do so in a reasonable and fair way. We expect them to make money and a profit, but we certainly don't expect them to rip people off.
Question number 3, David Garrett.